Hello, this is the Lord's Legion and welcome to another episode of Cancerous Comment Conduct, and I really do apologise for the lack of uploads for the past 2 weeks, mainly because for one, there haven't really been many news to really talk about, and truth be told I didn't really have that many ideas to do video wise, but this week I am actually going to push myself to the limit, and to pretty much make it up to everyone that have been missing my content. And the video in question that we're going to be looking at the comments from is of course the tier list that I made in relation to the MCU villains, which a lot of people seem to really enjoy that video, and it does have me motivated into making more in the near future, although I'm not going to be pumping them out and milking them dry. But without further ado, let's begin with the comments. 2017, diss tracks. 2018, boxing matches. 2019, tier lists. You know what, Dale? That is relatively accurate given how YouTube has been changing for the past few years alone. And I suppose that tier lists are kind of the new thing, mainly because they're just that easy to make. And granted, this is the only tier list that I've made thus far, but in all honesty, I just wanted to test the waters with my tier list specifically and see how far that can reach out in terms of views and if people even enjoyed that as part of my content. So, given the relatively positive reception, I am going to be making more regardless in the near future. Dang, so fuck Iron Man 3, lol. I don't know if many people even know this, but if you look at my review at Iron Man 3, you would know that I absolutely love the movie, and I do believe it to be within the top tier as far as MCU movies are concerned. And people mainly bash the movie because of the Mandarin twist, as well as the fact that Tony wasn't in the Iron Man suit for that much, but truth be told, I didn't mind either of those aspects, because the whole point of Iron Man 3 is the fact that Tony Stark finally learned that it's not the suit that makes Iron Man, but it's the man himself who makes Iron Man. And in my eyes, I think they've really nailed the premise. Noob Master 69 is the god tier. I can't disagree. In fact, if anything, Noob Master 69 being in god tier is just a massive understatement in and of itself. Because if you ask me, he is in a league of his own. Crossbones, Aldrich Killian, Black Order, Surtur, Grandmaster, Ulysses Claw. Of course there's going to be plenty of comments surrounding, oh, where's this villain or where's that villain? And in all honesty, I should have said before the video that I never picked the villains in question because it was someone else who did make the actual template, and it was only me that was picking out of those said villains that I could choose from. If I did have the power to choose these villains, then I would have included them into the original tier list, but unfortunately I didn't have the power to do so, so that's why they were excluded from the list altogether. I forgot Yon-Rog's name. I'm pretty sure everyone did. I mean, I had to literally research the character's name right before doing the Captain Marvel review, and that just speaks volumes. I agree with Ultron. I think his sense of humour actually makes him even scariest. A robot with feelings and true intelligence is one of our biggest fears in the modern world, and Ultron represents that perfectly. Although that was phrased strangely, I can't disagree there because Ultron is a relatively great villain in my eyes. In a way, I can understand why people didn't like Ultron having a sense of humour and having more personality, but personally, I didn't mind it too much, mainly because Ultron was based on Tony Stark's mind anyway, and I would have imagined he would develop at least some form of personality and sense of humour. Do a tier list but based on power of the Avengers in Endgame. No, I don't think I'm gonna do that because there's plenty of those enough. And I wanted to do something different, and no one else did MCU villains until I did, so hence why I wanted to do one based on the MCU villain specifically. Dormammu takes over land, destroys entire universes, potential is still there. You see, what some people still don't seem to understand about my tier list is the fact that mine isn't purely based on power level or what they have done in the MCU thus far. And although some of those aspects can factor into my personal opinion, first and foremost, it is based on my opinion, and in my opinion, Dormammu didn't really have much of a lasting impression towards me, nor really the film in general. But since Dormammu is still lurking in the MCU, this is why I still put him in the potential is still there category. How to make a good villain. Add 20mm of motivation, add 30 grams of memorable design, and finally a mix with personality. Ensure your good villain to share. For all future villains within the MCU, they must follow through the exact same formula in order for them to be as strong as the likes of Thanos, Ultron, Loki, Killmonger, etc. Otherwise, you're gonna have another in your hands. Dormammu. The Lord's Legion, I have come to bargain. Make me higher. Listen, Dormammu, I know you're a bit pissed off, but because he didn't really do much in Doctor Strange, you really couldn't be any higher than the potential still there category. But you know, if you do make it into the sequel and you do a lot more then, maybe I will reconsider and put you much higher than potential is still there.
Excuse me, what did you say about Guardians 2?
If you want to know my actual opinion on Guardians 2, then just go look at my review, but the short summary of it, I actually hate that movie with a passion because it's the ultimate embodiment of a mixed bag and it should have been so much better than the final product. I will admit that technically it is a lot better than Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World, but me personally, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the MCU movie that I hate the most. And my short summary behind my reasoning is because if the movie is this far ahead in the MCU, in other words somewhere in Phase 3, there is no excuse for that movie to be this mediocre. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about that one, because if I go any longer then it'll be a full-on rant and people just go and crucify me because I hate Guardians 2. Wow, Ultron over Loki? That takes balls. Well yeah, Ultron is a superior villain in pretty much every aspect. Granted, Loki is a more developed character overall, mainly because he has appeared in multiple MCU films, but when you think about a villain in terms of the role as an antagonist, I think Ultron is just a better villain in general compared to Loki. At least that's how I always viewed it anyway. Endgame spoiler. Why did 2014 Ronan not show up in Endgame? That is a legitimately good question, because you'd think that Ronan and the Kree warriors would actually show up during the final battle. Especially since Ronan specifically was name dropped in that said film, and it is very much clear that he is still associated with 2014 Thanos. In the grand scheme of things, it's not really that big of a deal, but I do think it's a bit of a missed opportunity on their end. Number 1, Kilgrave. Much like with Noobmaster69, I do think Kilgrave is in his own league, mainly because I think it's a little unfair to include the Netflix villains as well as the TV villains alongside the movie villains, because they do have a lot more time to develop as characters. But I suppose I could make a tier list based on the Netflix villains at some point in the near future. Why did he put Loki, Ghost and the Winter Soldier in the list? They became good guys in the end. Like I said earlier in this video, I didn't choose the villain specifically, it was someone else, and second of all, it doesn't matter if they became good guys in the end, because either way they were villains and they were main antagonists in their own respected movies. And although I am willing to admit that the Winter Soldier is a bit debatable, they do have their right to be in the list. How you gonna do my boy Zemo like that? Now if there's one thing that I wish I could change in the video looking back, is that I should have put Zemo a little higher, and the reason why I only put him and potential is still there is mainly because I was thinking about his future specifically. And by that I am referring to him becoming the Baron Zemo that we all know and love from the comics, and given the fact that he is still around and it seems like they might be going in that direction anyway, I thought maybe there's more potential for him to truly stand out. And for those who are wondering on where I would re-rank Zemo, I would personally put him in the great but a little lacking category, mainly because I do think that perhaps he would be better off as a physical threat like the Baron Zemo from the comics. When he was about to put Ultron on the no good of being bad, I was getting ready to dislike the video, but then he put him high, so I didn't. Don't worry, Fear Sunny D, I've got your back. Ultron is a fantastic villain, and I will never disrespect James Spader like that. Killmonger can say the N-word. Well, if you're gonna put it that way, I think that is a pretty legitimate reason to put him on the best of the bad. I agree with everything except for Killmonger in the best of the bad. He is basically Black Panther but a bad guy, and that's the problem with most villains. In most cases I would back you, but in the case of Killmonger, I do have to disagree, mainly because the whole idea of him being the Golden Jaguar does add to his character. And in a way it does mirror T'Challa, because when you look at his Black Panther costume, it is black for a reason, which is of course him being in the shadows and wanting to be kept hidden while while with Killmonger and his golden Jaguar costume, it is supposed to demonstrate the fact that he is proud of who he is and he just wants to show off to pretty much everyone. To which I do think is a subtle touch towards Killmonger's character. Ah yes, you used the CPR website. Well, first of all, it's not the CPR, it's the CBR. And secondly, I only ever go on that website just to look at some concept art that they show off here and there. Because as some of you would know, I often do countdown lists in relation to concept art. And I don't use the website beyond just looking at a few concept art lists here and there. I'm glad you didn't rank them based on power, cause if that was the case, this would be the actual worst. Like I said, doing a tier list based on nothing but the power set of each villain would be too boring and a tad overdone at that point. Hence why I wanted to go in a completely different direction when tackling my specific tier list. Granted, some people still believe that mine is based on power set and what they have done in the MCU, but I look at things through multiple perspectives and consider many different attributes for each villain. Please do this with heroes! Eventually? I mean, maybe? Zeno is the best villain. I'm sorry, but who the hell is Zeno? Is he meant to be like a scene kid version of Baron Zemo or something? Because if that were the case, he would make Malekith look cool by comparison. Kingpin, Kilgrave, Madame Gao, Billy Russo, aka Jigsaw? Like I have previously stated numerous times, I didn't pick the villains. Someone else did. And like I mentioned before, having the Netflix villains is a bit unfair because they're in a league of their own. When you destroy Asgard and destroy Thor until the final act, but only get the S tier. The only reason why I didn't put Hela in the best of the bad category is because she was heavily underutilized in Thor Ragnarok. Granted, I do love Hela and I do think she has the best ingredients into being a really fantastic villain, but the main problem is that the movie didn't use the character to her fullest potential. It is sad, I know, but it is the honest truth. Hold up, how you put Vulture lower than Hela? I don't know what tier list you were looking at, buddy, but last I checked, mine had Vulture higher than Hela. Maybe you got someone else's tier list open, or you just missed Saw? Whiplash had some good quotes. I'm sorry, but what good quotes? You mean, I want my bird? Because that wasn't remotely funny in the slightest, and it mustn't be a very good quote if I had to look at the comment section just to be reminded of that exact line. Nice clip to watch when you are bored. Thanks. Thanks for the backhanded compliment, I guess. I mean, nice profile picture, I think that's very edgy. Dormammu is better than Piers, I don't understand. Even Zeno is better, and the Winter Soldier. Again, who the fuck is Zeno? Like, what movie have I missed? Is Zeno like this leader of a cult filled with scene kids and will turn everyone into scene kids themselves? Because if you ask me, if that is the case, I don't think I'm missing out much. Swap Ego and Ultron and it's Gucci. Are we seriously still saying Gucci in 2019? I thought that trend died off years ago. Then again, I don't think I'm in that exact demographic, so I wouldn't know if that is still even a trend at this point. You suck! Whoa, 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 quiet down, child. I mean, whoa, wow, your name is actually Child. I kind of feel sorry for you. It's almost as bad as having a kid and you call the kid. Like, that's pretty tragic if you ask me. Overall, this tier list is hella whack. I mean, not only is it wrong, but you contradicted yourself. You say that this list is based on your pure opinions, yet you make the rankings based on how others feel. Then you rate each villain on different factors for inconsistency. It's whack, simple as that. First of all, it was purely my opinion, and second of all, I was focusing on different factors for various villains. I think what you're trying to refer to is when I did do a passing joke of people moaning if I put Loki anything higher than the best of the bad, but even then, I do legitimately think Loki is up there as one of the best villains in the MCU period. Not once did I contradict myself and basing the tier list on other people's opinions, nor was I being inconsistent with my opinions. I'm sorry that I didn't put, I don't know, the Mandarin onto this list because you're salty like that. Terrible list! dislike and report. I mean, you can dislike the video all you want, but reporting is a little far. I mean, it's not like I've really broken any of the terms of service from YouTube. It's not like this video was promoting racism or sexism or anything of that sort. I mean, you're taking this a little out of proportion. One of the only redeeming qualities? Ha 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 ha. I'm about to end this man's career with a 5-letter word. Yondu. You know what? I'm just gonna go and say it. Fuck Yondu. I'm actually serious. I could not stand that character in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I thought he was cool in the first film, but in Volume 2, he was god awful. They tried to make him relatable and sympathetic, but in my eyes, it just was completely forced, unwarranted, and it just fell in deaf ears. But yeah, I do think we had just about enough comments for this video, and it does feel good to be back in this series as always, and I'm glad that for once in quite a while that we had some really bad comments. Because with big videos such as these, you're always bound to have some really baffling comments, and I just cannot wait to read them every time and just laugh at the idiocy behind the comment section. And like I said, I've been the Lord's Legion for about 3 years now, I think, and at this point I just don't care about comments, and over time you do develop a bit of a backbone. And you know what they say, it is better to laugh than to cry. But I'm going to end this video right here, and as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, take care and have a good one.